For many of you, playing Solitaire was probably your first gaming experience. Indeed, there was nothing more satisfying than seeing the bouncing stacks after the long-fought victory. However, the genre has come a long way, and nowadays, among the best card games on PC, one can find various options with such prominent titles. This video will recommend you the 10 best card games in 2023 for PC and console. Let's get started. Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel takes the 20-year-old trading card game and adapts it into the definitive digital edition. Master Duel has been designed for all duelists, regardless of their skill level. Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel is a digital version of one of the biggest trading card games. If you watch anime, you might recognize this title. However, it is not an adaptation of the series, nor have the rules been changed or simplified, as Konami attempted to recreate the true TDC. The gameplay naturally focuses on duels against other players. Still, there's also a solo mode where you can access tutorials and special matches that will give you an insight into Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Not only is the game completely free to play, but there are also plenty of opportunities to create incredible decks that are capable of winning tournaments.
Slay the Spire. Slay the Spire is a combination of roguelike-inspired progression and the gameplay of a deck-building card game. At the start of a playthrough, the player selects one of 4 predetermined characters, which sets a starting amount of health, gold, a starting relic that provides a unique ability for that character. This grueling deck-building roguelike game has you scrambling up its titular spire, battling hordes of enemies as you go. Should you perish, you'll find that the tower is a different place when you return, packed with different foes and obstacles. Whether or not that'll work to your advantage, however, is another thing entirely. One thing it does allow you to do is experiment with different cards and chance upon various relics to give your deck a jolt. Slay the Spire's simple gameplay masks a devilishly complicated game. Synergies and counters are woven so finely together that it's often difficult to tell which is which. A single card can appear to break a deck apart, only for a relic to stick it haphazardly back together. A triumphant run can come to a dramatic halt as an uncaring boss casually sends you tumbling to the bottom of the tower. The Solitaire Conspiracy. The Solitaire Conspiracy is an indie solitaire and FMV video game developed by Mike Bithell and published by Ant Workshop. It was released for Windows on October 6, 2020, where it was self-published by Bithell himself, and November 3, 2021, for PlayStation 5, Switch, Xbox One and Xbox Series X. You are tasked with playing games of solitaire as part of a simulation, planning actions for your team of spies ahead of dangerous missions, both in the main campaign and the skirmish mode. They must be dangerous, the music playing in the background is so tense. Each one of the face cards also has a unique action that helps you by switching around the locations of some of the cards.
Shadowverse. With 8 different leader classes, Shadowverse gives you unparalleled freedom to create your own deck strategies. Learn the basics by playing through extensive single-player story mode before taking on other players in multiplayer modes. Be sure to pick up your free card packs after you've finished playing through the tutorial. Just go to your crate from the main menu to pick them up. And bonuses and daily missions help you unlock new card packs every day, so it won't be long before you have a deck that is capable of competing with the very best. There's less RNG in Shadowverse than other card games, making it supremely balanced. You'll need to trust your judgment, not your luck, if you are to come out on top. All of the cards in Shadowverse feature fantastic art by some of Japan's finest artists, and every single card is available as an animated version. Every card is also fully voiced, in English and Japanese, as is the single-player storyline.
We tell you the same thing.
Marvel's Midnight Suns. Marvel's Midnight Suns is a tactical role-playing game developed by Firaxis Games in collaboration with Marvel Games. Players take the role of the Hunter, the sole offspring of Lilith, as they lead a selection of heroes in various missions to defeat her. This game can be played as either male or female. Players are able to choose the Hunter's superpowers from over 30 different abilities. Combat is turn-based, similar to Firaxis Games' XCOM series, mixed with deck building similar to that found in Slay the Spire. Each hero, including the Hunter, has their own customizable deck of 8 cards. At the start of each mission, Players are allowed to choose 3 heroes to take into battle, with their decks combined into one that is to be drawn from each round. The cards represent abilities that may affect either enemies or the player's own heroes. Heroes may also move or interact with objects in addition to making attacks. Between combat missions, players manage their upgrade-able base of operations called the Abbey, which they can walk around in a third-person view to explore the grounds and interact with other heroes. Role-playing elements such as interaction with other characters influence the gameplay and those heroes' abilities. The Abbey is also the main source for acquiring new cards for hero decks and upgrading them. Cards. Cards is a turn-based collectible card game. It is played between 2 players, each with a deck of 40 cards themed around strategies of powers during World War II. Many of the card games revolve around mythical beings and beasts, but World War II game Cards is very different. The CCG by 1939 games instead focuses on the conflict surrounding World War II. You play as one of the nations involved, using tanks, planes, and artillery accurate to their resources, and battle against liveries of other players. Nations have particular strengths corresponding with their real-life abilities in the 1940s, such as America's production power exceeding that of other countries. Perhaps the most interesting aspect of Cards outside of gameplay is the Cards artwork, which is sourced from books, posters, comics, magazines, and more, providing a real sense of history. Marvel Snap. Marvel Snap is fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping strategic card battler that puts you in control of it all. They say lightning never strikes twice, but clearly lightning hasn't heard of Ben Brode and the team at Second Dinner. The ex-Hearthstone devs have created another smash hit card game, this time focusing on the Marvel Universe as it draws from iconic comic series such as the X-Men, Spider-Man, and so much more. Each game is played out across 3 iconic comic book locations, with each location granting a unique effect. Your cards not only react to the board state on that location but also to the location itself. Building a deck is incredibly easy as the archetypes are all fairly straightforward, and most games last a maximum of 3 minutes, so you always have time to hop in and out of matches. Stacklands. Stacklands is a strategy game from Sockpop Collective. This game combines roguelite and card gaming elements, with the card gameplay similar to a game of Solitaire. You start out with a few cards on the board, food, materials, and villagers, and you have to stack them all together so that the people are fed, and those people are working on harvesting the resources. With each passing day, you'll have new elements to stack efficiently across the board: livestock, money, housing, expansion, expeditions, and even waves of hostile monsters. And after your first couple of in-game weeks, you'll be doing well if your board isn't packed with a chaotic mixture of perfectly symbiotic stacks and half-finished, dysfunctional piles. It only takes about 6 hours to beat the campaign, so Stacklands is a great card game to clear in a weekend.
Wingspan. Wingspan is a game about being a birdwatcher and researcher who must develop the best habitat for the local birds. Each bird you play extends a chain of powerful combinations in one of your 3 habitats. Your goal is to discover and attract the best birds to your network of wildlife preserves. In Wingspan, up to 5 players compete to build up their nature preserves in a limited number of turns. Each beautiful bird that you add to your preserve makes you better at laying eggs, drawing cards, or gathering food. Many of the 170 unique birds have powers that echo real life. Your hawks will hunt, your pelicans will fish, and your geese will form a flock. It's a somewhat relaxing engine-building game with lovely art of many different species of birds. The board game version is arguably better because you can build a dice tower. Inscryption. Inscryption is a roguelike deck-building and psychological horror game developed by Daniel Mullins Games and published by Devolver Digital. Built on a twisted and sinister narrative told through talking cards and mysterious challengers sat on the other side of the table. Starting out in a remote cabin, you slowly build up a deck of woodland creatures and learn the rules of the game. You can sacrifice your weaker cards for blood, and use the blood to place other, more powerful cards against your opponent. Inscryption doesn't get bogged down in rules, either, and the story sweeps you along in waves of short matches. That's the end of our list. We hope you find something enjoyable to play. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up and comment below. Subscribe this channel to get more about the best games. See you on my next video.